to another episode of Gateway RV Transport Podcast. We're excited to be here today with our good friend Chad Harlan. Thanks, Chad, for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Kind of a trek down here.
A little bit, not much.
Yeah. But so it's great to see you. Great for you to come by. How long have you been here with us? How long have you been at Gateway?
What's going on? 7?
6 or 7?
Yeah, going on 7 years now.
Oh man, it feels like way longer than that. Jeez. Just kidding.
Yeah, we were in Columbia City. So
Yeah, you were in Columbia City and you were both on part-time going to college when I started.
it's been a little
What
while.
a waste of time.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Drop out of school, kids.
You were both wearing the same shirt that day. Same color and same pattern.
Was it one of these?
No, it was a plaid shirt.
Oh, yes. We often unintentionally would do that.
Yes.
Well, you know, mediocre minds think alike.
Humiliating to look. Just kidding.
Cool. Do you remember who did your orientation?
It was... You did
Might have been
part
me.
of it.
Yeah.
And then...
Maybe Gary.
Gary did part of it, and then his wife came in and did the financial part, and then I think you said something for a little bit, but then you finished up the...
Probably, yeah.
Because you were over the safety compliance.
That makes sense because you have not been a very compliant driver. I'm just kidding.
I haven't. I've been
I'm just
very
kidding. You're
obstinate driver.
I don't think that that's true. I think you actually...
We're
you've
not compliance to the laws, compliance to social norms and
Yeah, now that is, there's just apples.
those are
and
harder
oranges.
to enforce.
Exactly.
Well, Chad, how about some background? So, tell me a little bit about where you're from, growing up. What that
Right
was
here
like.
in Noble County.
Okay.
Right where we're talking. This is where I was born, right down the road in Kendallville. Grew up in the 2-county area, actually. Lived on a farm most of my life.
What did you do on the farm, or what was your...
Mainly grain farm, but we also raised hogs and had a few cows and stuff like that. So we've always worked.
Mm-hmm.
Work's never done type thing. So there's 4 boys, no girls. Always something to do. So there's that, I guess.
Kind of weird question, but would you ever want to go back? And is farming one of those things that, like, you've done it, you grew up with it?
I still
You
do it.
You still do it? Okay, yeah, all right. Well, there you go. What do you do? What farming now then?
We still green farm.
Okay.
My dad's getting older, and then me and my brother and I, my one brother and I are still doing it with him. So we go down, we get the fields ready, we get the crop in the ground, try to maintain it. If it needs anything throughout the year, sprayed or whatever, or if anything pops up, we try to take care of it. And then any maintenance on the vehicles or the equipment, we try to take care of. And then we harvest it and haul it in, sell it. So yeah, I do that too.
The big fancy machines?
No. Our newest piece of machinery is our combine head was a 2005. Our combine's in 89. Our tractors are newest ones in the 70s.
Okay.
So, we keep old stuff going.
Cool.
Everything's paid for. So, we're kind of that self-sufficient type mentality. That's how we were raised. So, do with what you have is what we were raised with.
Mm-hmm. I saw this video where it was this guy working on some plumbing, worked on his car, and working on a bunch of stuff. And they were like, wow, you really are, you know all kinds of stuff. He said, no, I just grew up poor. I thought, oh, okay, well, that makes sense.
That's what my dad always said. He goes, we had to learn to work on stuff because we didn't have money to pay other people to fix it. So It's not a bad thing either when you look back on things, figuring out how things work to fix it.
Yeah.
Then, I'm not saying anything against anybody that pays people to fix their stuff. It's just if you understand maybe not how it's fixed, but understand how it works. So then if somebody's scamming you. That's what I even try to teach my kids, like my daughters and stuff. Nothing against girls, but usually that stuff doesn't interest them. But I tell them, you at least need to understand how it works and operates so you can make sure that you're not getting scammed.
Mm-hmm.
they like that part. So
I also find some, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but satisfaction in working with your hands. Like, I feel like there's some fulfillment there that's hard to replicate outside of that.
when you get done with it after the pitfalls, then you
Yeah.
can throw your hands up and like, yeah,
I did that. Yeah. I remember, I've had a couple experiences of this. I was a missionary in London, and we were helping put in like a path on like a park or something like that, and you had to sledgehammer these stakes in where the path is going to go. And the guy I was with was holding the stake, and I was hitting it with the sledgehammer, and he was really
So it was a trust
nervous,
exercise.
I guess. Yeah,
big time.
And so I was like, "Do you want to swap?" And he was like, "I've never touched a sledgehammer in my life before." And I was like, "What?" And then of the team of people that were volunteering helping, I was the only person that had ever done anything like that before, and it just blew me away. And a couple of years later, I was working for an oil company, and one of the smartest guys I knew, just really sharp, full ride scholarships to colleges, and has 3 degrees, whatever. We were working on the R&D in the R&D department, and he pulled me aside. He was like, "Hey, I'm trying to drill this thing in this sample board that I'm making, but I can't get the drill to go backwards." Like, what are you talking about? It's like, the drill that I'm using, it drills in, but you can't go backwards. I was like, "Have you never used a drill before?" He said, I've never used a drill before. And I'm embarrassed to tell anybody that. It's like, "You're the smartest guy here. You've never held like a Milwaukee drill?" He's like, "Nope, no, I've never done anything like this." It's like, well,
You got to get very old to get ones that didn't have
here we go.
reverse.
Yeah,
You know
so I
what
was like, click right there. He's like, "Oh, okay, got it." It's like, yeah, you're probably wise in not telling anybody you didn't know how to do that. I don't know. I think there's a lot to be said for growing up knowing how to work with your hands. I don't know.
That's what I'm teaching my sons now. So I'm trying to teach them the way I was taught, but I'm not as good as my dad. So,
Yeah, a few of us are. I think.
You know what I mean? It's.
I'm that way with backing up trailers. It's like every time it's like, my dad can do this in 5 seconds. I'm like, oh, yeah. Anyway,
I get frustrated when I watch people back trailers up, and it's like, just get out and let me do it so we can go.
You're only feeling like that because you.
Oh, I just hit a mailbox today. Yeah. Dang it! You gotta be kidding me. I just got back from British Columbia last night. I took a triple set up there, and then this morning, getting into my dad's driveway, back in the trailer in there, I hit the.
You hit your dad's mailbox.
Nah, I hit his neighbor's mailbox.
That's okay. Well, that's not as easy then.
Well, whatever. Anyway.
Who hasn't hit that mailbox?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's like this 5th mailbox of that neighbor's house,
probably, and it's all from
Us.
one of us.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I need to go see the Kennedys.
Yeah.
Dang it.
So now, Chad, you're doing farming, but you're also running a campground. Pretty cool.
Well, just keeping an eye on it. Yep, managing. So.
Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, I like being outside.
But working with people?
Oh, that's not a bad thing. I mean, yeah, you got to keep remembering it. It's just like with any facet in life. You can deal with 10 great people, and then 11th person can be a pain in the rear, and that's what you remember.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's a good point.
I just got to keep reminding myself, you can't please everybody. You can try your best and just set the standard. And what I tell people is I just sell. What we try to sell is consistency, is what I try to. Now, this is what we have. This is what it is. If this isn't for you, then there's other campgrounds for you. I'm not trying to be rude, but not everything is. Some people like Chevys, some people like Dodges, some people like Fords. You know what I mean? Some people like Starbucks, some people like Big B, some people like scooters. You know what I mean? So it's like there's other options out there, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And so, but it's a different. Yeah, I've done quite a few different things in my life, and it seems to bounce me around with, different people, I guess.
Do you find that to be a good thing, or do you look back and think, man, I really wish my life was such that I got this 9-to-5 job when I was 21 and I've stuck in the same company, done the same thing? And
No.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did what I did. I think it's great. Got to see a lot of different things. And you can say you're a jack of all trades and a master of nothing. So, done a little bit of everything and a whole lot of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But I can still say I've done a little bit of everything.
And now you were in the military.
Yeah, 6 years.
What branch and position?
Oh, I was a truck driver in the Army. And then I was in the National Guard as a truck driver for a little bit.
Yeah, cool. And
where all did you go with that? I know you were in Washington.
I just stayed here.
Were you in Washington or Oregon?
Yeah, I just stayed stateside though.
Oh, here as in the U.S. Okay.
Yeah, I had to end up getting knee surgery and didn't get deployed. So, no, I stayed in Washington State, which was beautiful.
Where at in Washington State?
Tacoma.
Okay, I just got back from Washington, like across 90 there. Pretty cool spot.
Oh yeah. Went through the Sonoma's Pass.
Yeah, that was cool. Snoqualmie.
Snoqualmie Pass.
Like
that's
that,
what it is.
yeah.
I always mispronounced it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty area.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. And we had to cross that to go to Yakima.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where the National Guard Training Center is
Okay.
at. So we went out there to train too. So they have a desert in Washington. That's where we would train.
I see. The deserts of Washington. Famous.
They actually have a rainforest
know
in
that.
Washington too. A temperate rainforest.
What is that like on the Puget? Is the Puget Sound that? What is that? When people say that,
It's right up.
Puget,
It's what the Olympia is right on.
Okay.
Seattle.
That's that,
Puget
like,
Sound. It's
peninsula.
salt water, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
They have a resident. What they tell us, they have a resident population of killer whales that just stay there.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
So it's kind of neat.
now if I recall, just kidding. I've looked it up. The inlet of the Pacific Ocean, part of the Salish Sea, along the northwest coast of the U.S. state of Washington. Yeah, cool. I've been to Washington, but not really ventured much. And so, when you left the Army or National Guard, is that when you started working with the police here?
No, I went in the Army late in life. I went in at 27. So I was at the Sheriff's Department prior to that. Before that, I was on the McKinneville used to have police reserves. I started there when I was 20. By the time I got to all my training, I was 21. And I started on the reserves there, and then I got on the correctional side at the Sheriff's Department. And then I was there for... I ended up doing about 20 years there total, but I left, went to the active Army, and then came back and finished my time. But yeah.
Was that all here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Noble County. Right here. I didn't go farther than the Army. And then I came right back here, right northeast Indiana. Cornfields, bean fields. RV.
Yep.
Capital of the world.
Yep.
Indiana.
Good place to be.
Yeah. So you said about 20 years cumulatively down there. What kept you there? You like the people you'd worked with? And,
I always had this, I call it a fantasy of being wanting to be a police officer or deputy, but like Andy Griffith. You think he's corny, but he didn't just enforce laws, he actually helped people. He wasn't the enforcer.
mm-hmm.
What they portray cops as being now is more militaristic. He was more like an extra dad over there. Hey, knock that stuff off and get home. You know what I mean? Type thing.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to be. And even back then, society didn't want that. So I just stayed where I was at. The schedule worked for me the way the schedule was. And then I had small kids and working on the farm. So it just worked better for me.
Now, the correctional side of things means that you probably saw a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And probably some good stuff too, maybe. I don't know.
You meet quite a spectrum of people.
You have some crazy stories from work with the
Pretty much
inmates.
everything you could see on TV, I've seen in real life.
Does that make you more cynical of people as a whole, do you think?
Yes. Well, you already know. That's why you're
know.
smiling.
You and I have maybe I'm a little bit.
I have to. That's the bad part of working on that side of the society. You see, everybody comes in at their lowest all the time, and one, it creeps in on you. It's rough. You don't realize it, but it makes you a very negative person. You're always looking at the negative of everybody, and the majority of the time, people are out to get you. And that's all they do is have time to think inside there. And they have all these groups, organizations out there that feel sorry and pity for them. Because in their mind, they didn't do nothing wrong and you're abusing them. They're the victim. And then when you get out of that setting, it's hard to flip your mind the other way. And not think that everybody's purposely trying to hose you over. You know, you guys have seen that, right? Mm-hmm. I look at things with a little different eyes than what most people do that you've met.
So how do you, what would you do to keep, the right positive mind frame when that's what you're surrounded by, people at their lowest, and in many instances, kind of the less exemplary populace of society? How do you keep yourself positive and at a certain level when everybody you're working with
Dark humor.
Okay.
Dark humor. It's sad, but it's dark humor. And then you just look at them. Not today, Satan. Shut up. Leave me alone. I mean, you're blunt to the point. I mean, it sounds horrible sometimes. It just is what it is But the thing is, you learn real quick. Oh, I learned as a kid you don't lie because it don't get you nowhere, and punishments are 10 times worse in my family. So, but at the sheriff's department, I never had to lie to nobody because you told them the truth. They didn't want to hear that anyways. The truth was worse than telling them a lie. They wanted to hear a lie, so I would just tell them the truth. You know what I mean? Mm. And yeah, I had more fun telling people the truth. Just because they wouldn't believe me. It was just because they expect everybody, because most people in society look at where I came from. Yeah. They would expect people to lie, steal and cheat from, cheat and steal. And that's sad. And then the good part is when you deal with somebody or even families, generationals, because at one time I remember having grandpa, son, grandson, granddaughter, all booking in the same night, all for different things throughout the county. Mm. It was sad, right? Yeah. But here the light at the end of the tunnel is, and it all happens differently. Some people never get it. Some people, their light switch never turn on. Other people, it can happen at 20, it can happen at 25, it can happen at 30, 40, 50, 60. They come in and they look different, they act different, and they'll be like, "Hey Chad, how you doing? Hey man, what's happening? Just cleaning up my past. I haven't been in trouble. This is stuff from my past. I'm just cleaning up. I haven't been in trouble in 3 years. I'm doing this and this and this. I got family. I'm doing." And then when you hear the key words, and I didn't make this up. It's what I've heard from all these different people. You can't do it for somebody else. You can't be made to do it. When I hated it when I take people to court and a judge would force them to go to alcohol class or force them to go to parenting class or force them to do this to get out of jail. The only reason they're doing it is to get the box check to get out of jail. They're not doing it to make themselves a better person. It's when you hear them, I did this for myself, and then in turn, I got this. Mm-hmm. I got my family back because I fixed myself. And when you start hearing that and it repeats itself, people that never knew each other would say the same thing. Or I'd see them at Walmart. "Hey, Chad, man, I'm sorry. I gave you all kinds of trouble for years, but I'm clean now. I'm doing good. I haven't been in trouble in 5 or 6 years. I cleaned myself up. So I got tired of it, and things just started happening. Good things. So you start seeing patterns. humans are good at seeing patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that.
Yeah, a lot.
Well, one of our favorite books, I don't know if I've talked to you about this or not, Chad, but Jocko Willink, Extreme Ownership. Have I talked about this? It's one of my favorite books. That's one of the core concepts. Is like when you start to just own your own life, take responsibility.
Jordan Peterson, clean your own room.
Yeah, that kind of mentality.
When he said that, I was like, oh, the lights got turned on. I was like, hello people. You have to clean your own life up before you can worry about cleaning everybody else's up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't throw rocks in a glass house. That's the same basic fundamentals of it. Don't. Yeah. Unless yours is cleaned up, don't mess with somebody else's stuff.
Yeah.
So were you able to have your Andy Griffith moment even in that kind of scenario?
No.
So help being kind of that, maybe you get some young kids in there that
You could do the little things, but it's so political. You can't. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, it doesn't matter what political party it is. It's a Gestapo on either side. Left wing, right wing, it's the same bird flying the same direction. Let's be real. You know what I mean? Not to be political, because I don't like politics, because it's all garbage.
I agree. Crazy on both sides and everywhere in between.
Yes.
probably it's crazy world you have to try to govern. So you're going to get crazy governance. Shifting gears here a little bit. Gateway. So when you first started driving, what were some things that you wish you'd have known? What are some, if you were a friend, neighbor comes to you and says, Chad, I'm thinking about doing some RV hauling. What do I need to know? What would you tell them?
Well, what kind of RV hauling does he want to do first? Does he want to do singles? Does he want to just do bumper pull? Or travel trailers? Or does he want to do fifth wheels? Does he, box himself in and just do one thing? Or does he want to be able to do a couple? Does he do multi-haul or trailers? I'd ask him those. How far do you really want to go? How far do you want to modify your truck? What is your financial setup right now to be able to do that? Because unless you can cash flow quite a bit, especially in the financials or the standing at the climate that it's in now, it's kind of hard to navigate, I think. I mean, I'm not talking crap about it. I'm just being real. I mean, it has its ups and downs just like every other industry does. So
it does.
So maybe just if somebody's starting, you need to know what you want and what you're looking for.
Well, I'd have to ask them those questions. I mean, are you trying to stay regional, like a regional route? Do you want to stay, like what I did? I didn't really have a drive to make it a weekly thing to go out west, to go real far. You guys know that. I said I'd like to go once in a while, but I never did. I liked going to Alabama or North Carolina, Ohio, Wisconsin once in a while. I kind of like staying more of a regional type Kentucky. Something I could be there and back if something happened, because my family's older and I have younger kids, so I didn't want to stay gone very long. I was in the Army and watched my kids grow up on a cell phone, and I don't want to go through that.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard. So that was my main concern. But if you run away, make the money, and the other thing I would tell them is learn finances, and your right foot's your big financial thing. Keep your right foot off the accelerator, drive like an old man, and stay out of the gas stations, truck stops. Go in, do your thing, get your groceries, have your little cooler, because that's all profit. Everything you're spending is profit at the end of the day. Because what are you going to do, pound your chest and brag about what? It's not going in your bank account. To people, that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So we've talked about that. People brag to other people. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. It doesn't help you either way.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, and so kind of related, but Tim is who told you about this, right?
Tim told me about what?
Gateway.
Tim is my neighbor that actually got me into pulling campers.
Okay. How did you? So you just have been neighbors with Tim for a long time?
I was neighbors with Tim for a long time. Because my father told me this a long time ago when I was probably in elementary school, middle school. If you want to be good, if you are interested in doing something, you need to find somebody that excels at it, that's good at it, and emulate what they're doing. Okay. So, I had a neighbor that's pulling campers. He seemed to be doing good in his life from what I've seen from the outside. So we got to talking, ended up becoming friends. And yeah, he watches his pennies. He evaluates everything, which is not a bad thing, and I like it. And yeah, you have to cost analysis on everything because that's life, unfortunately. And yeah, he got me involved in it, and time flies. So he's the guy that got me into it. He asked me those, well, how far do you want to go? Mm-hmm. Blah, blah, blah. If you want to go farther than this right here, you're probably going to want to get an extra fuel tank, and you're probably going to get this set up, and you want to do this. But if you're going to stay here, you can get away with not modifying your truck in this way, saving yourself that money and expense and da-da-da-da. So, but yeah, Tim was the reason why I got to meet you guys, because he liked how Gateway was ran, how it was family owned, and you weren't a number. They talked, called you by your name, and they actually cared about you, if you were okay. Not just, hey, did the load make it? Okay, click. Hey, are you okay? So that's what he liked, and you don't see that anymore, anywhere. So that was a good thing.
So what about this?
A little plug for Gateway RV.
I appreciate that.
Well, and just to throw a plug, we worked with Tim for a long time. What a good dude. Not that Tim will ever hear this, but I wouldn't tell him in front of him, but we really like him. Same thing. I wouldn't tell Chad this. I'm just saying it because I'm on camera, but Chad has been an awesome asset. You've helped us out in work, in personal stuff with my cars and helping.
Oh, your car's still going.
Good. All right. Good.
My daughter has it now.
All right. Nice. But and you've been a great representative with us at the factories that we work with and helping us build good relationships. And so we kind of, you and Tim are like a team of helping us. And so I would never say this to you guys, but you guys have been awesome to work with and just good people.
He's not going to say this, but we're going to broadcast it.
Yeah, I would never tell you that. But yeah, I can vouch for Tim and Chad. Are cool, good dudes.
One of the reasons that we like, I don't know if I can speak for you a little bit too, Justin, I guess. One of the reasons that we like Gateway, we like being here, is we've got just the best drivers. Just exceptional people. And not just drivers, but people. And, you're a great example of that, of just like a good person, but then willing to help out, good at what you do, take it seriously. I think that's a big part of it, seeing how you can improve, seeing how you can do better, seeing how we can together move forward. And ideally, that's kind of what the idea of this podcast is that we can share the good insights and qualities that our exceptional drivers have with other people to try to just make us all better. And that's...
Well, it's like safety. That's my thing. I don't care if I just pull in and I don't know the driver. If I see something unsafe, I try to go over and fix it. Mm-hmm. That scares the holy bejesus out of me. Because I also, being a farmer, I've pulled all different weird things down the road. Mm-hmm. I've had to back weird things up. I've driven combines and all kinds of stuff, and I see how stupid people are. And
how come you pointed at me when you said that?
I did. I was scratching my nose.
I'm just kidding.
I've been in a combine, and I see you see a telephone pole on the right side, or it'd be on your if you were facing me coming, it'd be on your left side, and then there's a mailbox on your left, and people will stop right at the mailbox. I have nowhere I can go. I'm already in the middle of the road, and then they get mad at me, and it's like, okay, you're stupid. I have the right of way, there was a driveway right before the mailbox you could have pulled into. How many people just do that stuff to me? But it's like pulling campers. I've had people, and now that you guys have pulled campers for several years now, you've had it, you're tooling along on the interstate, everything's good, cruise control set, you're monitoring your mirrors, making sure nothing's flying off of the campers. And, because that happens once in a while. Mm-hmm. You get a wind gust, nothing that the units happen, but, you get a side gust or something. And next thing you know, you got someone fly past you, and then out of the blue, they just cut you off and slam on their brakes. Out of the blue for no reason. And it's like, come on, people. We can't do this. It's that kind of stuff that just drives. That's what I would warn people about this industry is this. Your nerves will be shot by the time you get home sometimes. Columbus, Ohio is I always thought Chicago would be worse. Columbus, Ohio was my worst. I hated going to Columbus, Ohio. All the construction.
I never have had issues with Chicago. Like this last trip, I was like, Seattle was crazy. But Chicago has always been fine for me.
When I was a kid, you guys were in Utah. When I was a kid, we went to Chicago. There was no GPSs. You had a Rand McNally map. And after that, you had MapQuest printed off.
Yep.
And you had to stop, and you better have the exact change. If not, you're waiting. And you had horns blowing, right? Mm-hmm. So it was drive 2 miles, stop, throw it in. So it was horrible traffic. And if you didn't know ahead of time and know the area, it was even worse. Now, okay, it warned you 3 miles in advance, I need to be in that lane. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's nice.
Yeah.
Columbus, holy cow. I've had people just cut right in front of me, slam on their brakes, and then I've had semi-drivers do it because they don't respect RV guys at all. Most of them don't. I found that out too. Mm-hmm. But there's other RV guys that make it hard on us too. Mm-hmm. There's good and bad and all, so there is what it is.
Where's your favorite place that you've been to with an RV?
As in what? Dealership or location?
Location. Even like return trip, even somewhere that this took you that you wouldn't have otherwise gone.
Well, I never probably would have went to Decatur, Alabama, down in that area, and I thought it was just pretty. And I wanted to go down farther, but we didn't have any units at the time. To
like the coast?
Yeah. But the truck stop out at Iowa.
Oh,
that was neat. And at one time I wanted to take my son with me when he got a little older. I thought that'd be cool. But that's a horrible trip. Because there's nothing there and the roads suck. In Illinois,
I love 80, going across 80 is, I don't know, maybe it's just because I've done that run.
It's just so boring.
And that's my favorite.
But you get from here and you're going west, and it's like, okay, cool. And then you hit Illinois and it's like,
well, that's why you just bungee cord your steering wheel.
And then you hit Iowa.
Cruise control.
Take a nap.
Don't
we endorse that.
This is not endorsed from Gateway RV.
Yeah. I don't know. So it's interesting that the different runs that people like. Because my favorite is going across 80. I really like that. People like going to Texas. I've done the Houston run 3-4 times now. I don't care for it. I don't like going through Arkansas.
Yeah. I used to love going to Piqua, Ohio.
Yeah.
Because the people were great. You know what I mean? It was, but I would go sometimes twice. I had it figured out where I could make it 3 times in one day. Legally, everything looked kosher, legit.
It looked kosher, legit, or
it was kosher, legit. I would rather err on the side of caution, and because I don't like being messed with. Mm-hmm. So when I do get pulled over, I want all my ducks in a row, so there's nothing for them to mess with.
Yep. Yeah, that's the way to do it. You also went to Coldwater quite a bit. Is that one run that you liked?
No,
you didn't like that one.
No, still don't.
Okay, all right, never mind. I thought you liked that one.
I liked how close it was.
Yeah.
That was it.
Kelly was a big fan of Coldwater.
Kelly loved going to Coldwater. The nice thing about the Coldwater one, before they got bought out and we don't go there anymore or whatever, but it's only like 60 miles.
So it pays $150.
Yeah. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that part. I just didn't care for Yeah, some of the individuals at the dealership.
Got it.
That was the only reason. It's like they just dragged their feet. Like,
Well, that really makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, the
I
people
was a
that you
people
interact
person.
with,
Yeah.
that makes a huge difference. And that's one of the things that we're trying to make a push with, is because we have great drivers, is that's kind of a big selling point. We want to be, if your average RV hauler guy is just average, and then you see a gateway driver and you have a good experience consistently with a gateway driver, I mean, that's what we're finding more and more that has started. That's the case.
Well, they used to love
Yeah.
seeing me down at Zoomers because if there was an issue with the
Mhm.
unit before the one salesman passed away, I had his number.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, there's no driver that has our salesman's number, that our salesman talked to the factory sale. I said, man, we talk about sports and stuff with our kids. And he's told me, if there's an issue, call me. Okay. And I said, yeah, you'll have your parts here on Monday next week, and this is Thursday. I said, he'll be down on Monday, and he'll bring them down personally. Are you serious? Yeah. Okay. So then the next time I was down, pulling the camper to him, I said, did you get your parts? Yep. He brought it right away, just like you said. They couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about this more and more of just being better. Like whether it's at work or in other ways, there's so much influence that you can have on the people around you, and it takes only a little bit more conscious effort to make a big impact on other people. It's really easy, like even say here at the office, it's really easy for me to be working on a project and you just get interrupted all the time. And people are coming in and out, and to just say, you know what, I don't want to interact with anybody, and so I can just do me. I think that's easy, and I think it's probably human nature to want to be.
But some days you have to have that.
Well, you do, yeah. I mean, that's true, especially if you want to make progress. But the
Well, not just progress. You have to energize your own batteries before you can help energize other people's batteries.
yeah. I mean, that's certainly true. But it's going a little bit above and just taking some time with people.
My thing is
It's
don't
so
go out of your
important.
way to be a butthole.
Go out, yeah.
Step one.
I mean, if a lot of people just did that in life, just don't go out of your way to be a rude person, things would be a whole lot smoother with everybody in life. You know, my wife and I was at the Verizon store, and it's not an age thing. I've had older people do this. We were sitting there in line, waiting. The couple in front of us was getting helped. And this older lady just literally walks right in, sits down, and that couple gets up and, excuse me, I need help with this. Butts right in front of us. And I'm like, if I was a different person, I would have you know what I mean? 5 years ago, I'd have said something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well,
and sometimes there's a case for that.
And I don't think.
Because you don't want to be known as the guy or person, not the person that gets walked on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's wrong. I don't know. Like in a scenario like that, I don't think it's wrong to say something at all.
But
in fact,
sorry,
but don't attribute to malice what can be attributed to ignorance.
that type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's often the time.
I like that.
It's a Justin. I don't know.
Assume that they have good intentions. They don't realize they're doing something inconsiderate. Like
everybody's so caught up in their own mind, their own world.
they probably don't realize when they're being rude or when they're being.
Well, there was a
selfish.
podcast I was actually watching, or not a podcast, whatever you call it, where they're sitting there like this.
Mhm.
And it was a former CIA agent talking to another former, and he actually said that. He goes, the large portion of the world actually thinks that the world revolves around them.
Mhm.
Very few people actually see the world as it is.
Yeah.
And they don't do it intentionally, but they're so used to everything revolving around what they want right now.
And that's one thing. Like I always have a hard time if I go to like a big event like the Indiana State Fair and there's like thousands of people, right? I always have this existential crisis because I think each one of these people has their own lives like me where they're worried about their kids and they're like they have a friend who's just lost a loved one and like everybody's got so much going on, but you only think about what you got in your little world, but everybody's like that. And so it's like sometimes it's really helpful for you guys.
Sometimes be nice because everybody's got trash. Not trash, but everybody's got crap going on at home.
Yeah.
But it's like all of these revolving universes that are just coming into contact with each other just peripherally, and everybody is a human with their own universe.
Yeah.
And so, like in that scenario, if you were to say, "Hey, you crazy old lady, get out of the way, I was here," maybe that's not the best response. But I don't think it's out of line at all to... This happened not that long ago. I was in the line at the grocery store where you do your own self-scan, and I was standing there, and this guy came up and got right in front of 3 or 4 of us, and I said, "Oh, hey, sorry, you probably didn't realize we're in the line." "Oh, yo, sorry, yeah. I could have been a jerk and been like, "Hey, back of the line, Buster," and got in his face or whatever, but it was like, "Oh, sorry, you must not have realized that we were here. It's fine, but we're in the line." And "Oh, yeah, sorry, no problem." And then he got in the line. And I think it was almost a positive experience for both of us and even the other people, because you could see that they were getting all frustrated, but they weren't going to say anything. But they were just going to internally stew about this jerk that just got cut in front of everybody, who just didn't probably, and maybe he did, but I want to assume that he didn't realize that he was cut in line of everybody and just say, "Oh, hey, sorry. Yeah, we're all in line." And every once in a while you have somebody that does that on purpose. And
sometimes you got to lay down the law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. It's just navigating people is a topic that we can spend a lot of time talking about for sure. Especially navigating people that are like Justin. It's impossible.
What are you going to do? There's only so many insane people out there like me. So.
Yeah. What do you listen to when you're in the truck on the road?
Depends on my mood. I'm very bipolar when it comes to my music choices or my listening choices. Right now it's talk radio. Sometimes I get into talk radio. It depends on the subject. And sometimes it doesn't matter if it's religion or politics or current events or whatever. Whatever interests me at the time. Or it's music. Depends on whatever genre it is. It all depends on my mood, I guess, or type of year it is, or time of year it is, but Christmas music's usually a no-go. I'm just saying I burn out of Mariah Carey.
I get it. Well, I mean, the last time that I was rode with you in your truck, Cyndi Lauper came on right.
All I want for Christmas is you.
Oh yeah. Girls just wanting. You're embarrassed that it's like, oh.
I think it was Cyndi Lauper was on there with girls. Yeah, want to have fun.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
And it sounds to me like you spend a lot of your time listening to RV transport related podcasts.
I do research quite a bit of RV stuff.
But that was a plug for Gateway's RV podcast, such as this. It actually hasn't been released yet. But whoever's listening to this, at that time it will have been released. So
time is relative is what you're...
I guess. Yeah. Okay. Well, when you look back, so you're where you're at right now, look back at your life, what is the thing that you want to be most proud of?
What do I want to be most proud of?
Yeah.
Honestly. I don't know, maybe... Honestly, I haven't really made much thought about that, I guess. That my kids are doing good in life, I guess. They can make the right decisions as an adult without second guessing. I mean, everybody's going to second guess themselves, but can make most of the right decisions. They're still going to have pitfalls. Every person does, but they can learn to handle them.
Instilling into them confidence. Yeah.
I keep beating this into them, not physically, but because I'm still blessed to have a grandmother, and I ask her now and then, I said, does it ever get any better? You know, things in life, you get things thrown at you, and she goes, no, it doesn't. It's how you handle it gets better with age. You don't let it affect you just like you do when you were younger. You know, your world just didn't come to an end because you had a flat tire. The older you get, it's like, I got a flat tire, I'll get it fixed. You know what I mean? That's what I'm just relating it to like that.
Mm-hmm. I interviewed my grandpa a year or two before he died. He was in the Marines, and he had a good friend who he spent a lot of his military career with, or at least some amount, who was just like this battle-hardened, tough guy. You know, had seen combat, was like a tank machine gunner or something like that, and just was like an intense dude. And anytime when they were working together that a problem would come up, he would just say, I don't see the problem. And the people would come to him with issues and come to them with a scenario, hey, this thing just happened, I don't know what we're going to do. And he would just stop and say, I don't see any problem. Because he had a perspective of having seen what a problem actually is.
Yeah, I think with age you get more perspective too.
I'm sure. And so I think about that often of like, maybe my personal circumstances, things are not going how you want them to. And then I have to kind of consciously take a step back and say, hey, I've got a healthy body. I got people around me that care about me.
My kids are healthy.
We're safe. That right there, those things is better than what 98% of the world is experiencing. And so I don't actually things are okay. You know, it's going to be tight this week, and maybe I can't get the brand of cereal that I want. I have to get you know what I mean? And it's not really that big of a deal. And I don't know. So I think, and I believe you when you say this is what you're trying to instill in your kids, because I think you wear that. You're an honest person. You act in the way that you are. You don't try to hide it. And I think that's really admirable. And I agree completely. I think that I've been thinking about this more and more. The two values I'm trying to instill in my kids are confidence and compassion, and try to have those two together in the same quantity, having the same amount of confidence and compassion. And if I'm certain if they just have those two things, I think they'll be all right. But there's going to be a lot of stuff that gets thrown at them, and I'm terrified about that. Like as a dad with little kids, what they're going to face, like the phase of life that you're in. I'm scared to death about being a dad with teenagers because the world's just getting crazier all the time. Mm-hmm. And so
And I have some teenagers, and I still have some younger ones. Mm-hmm. I have an older one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah, it's scary. Hopefully, you just hope for the best. I mean, you instilled what you got, but you also remember, if you raised them like I did, you raised them all to be independent. Is all get out, and it's sad, it's heartbreaking. In one hand, in the other hand, it's proud because they're doing their own thing. They're standing on their own feet. And sometimes you got to chew them out for, hey, put your pride in your pocket. Sometimes you need help. It's okay. You know, I understand. I'm the reason you're that way. I did this to you. I mean, you don't ask for help, you do it yourself type thing. You know what I mean? But you need to start asking for help. It's not a bad thing, especially when you have some friends. Mm-hmm. But we're very adamant with we would rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies, though, too. We'd rather have 4 good friends that are worth more than 100 friends.
It's a good phrase. I like that. There's a lot of applications for that. I'm going to try and remember that. 4 quarters, not 100 pennies.
I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies.
I like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of application. That's
a deep one, isn't it? It sounds shallow as all get out at first. Until you think about it, it's deep. It's really
a good
deep.
way of encapsulating a concept that I would like to explore. I will meditate upon this. Thank you, Chad.
You're very welcome.
Chad, you're a great guy, great driver. We're really honored that you've stuck with us for as long as you have, and a great friend.
Well, I don't plan on leaving.
Yeah.
So
well, it's not. This isn't your obituary.
Is this my exit interview?
And with that, Chad, we're gonna have to let you go.
Oh, thank you.
My final question, which is probably the most important and most difficult question of all: what's your favorite dessert?
It used to be cheesecake, kind of still is, but I'm all over the place when it comes to desserts.
You're a foodie, so that's probably hard to walk into.
There
this
is a
one.
place in Warsaw down in the back. That's where the old A&W used to be. You probably don't. Look up Balmy's, the Indian place. It's on the straight, and that's a great plug for Balmy's Indian food. In Warsaw, Indiana.
I'll have to tag them somehow in this.
Oh yeah.
But there's a Thai place on the same street as them in Warsaw. Top Thai is what it's called. They have really good food too.
What is it called?
Top Thai.
Top Thai.
Okay.
And then literally half a block, you can see it from there. There's a Mexican place that has Mexican food and desserts. So they got it kind of split. Holy cow. It's a pina colada thing. They had coconut cream around the lip of the thing with coke. Oh my gosh, was it heaven in a cup? I think Jesus made it with his own hand. I'm telling you.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
You turn water into wine.
I'm
So.
telling you, it was blessed. It was blessed because it was heaven right there. Because I didn't feel good that day. I don't think, if I remember correctly, I wasn't sick, but it was one of those you just didn't. You just want to go home and just relax.
Yeah.
And I had a drink of that, and it's like, that's a good day. You know what I'm
Well, you've been talking about this Indian and Thai are my favorites.
Huh.
And so I haven't too good, and I just haven't found one that I love yet in Fort Wayne.
That place in Indy is one of the.
Bon Thai, the owner passed away last I knew, and then they tried to keep it running, and they couldn't keep it running. They were just doing takeout or whatever, so they ended up selling. I think that was for sale down on Anthony.
Mm-hmm. I did go there when it was,
And it wasn't.
good.
Go to Walmart in Kendallville. They sell it. I think it's a Red Elephant or something like that is the brand. It comes in a packet, and you can get the Thai red curry sauce from this. It's not quite as good as Bon Thai or Top Thai, but then you buy your own protein source and then your own veggies and cut it up, and you just follow what it says. It's not bad for a pinch. I made it a couple times.
Okay.
It's pretty decent. Especially when it's cold outside and nasty, you don't want to go nowhere. You can throw that in there. Oh yeah.
That does sound good. I'm hungry now.
Yeah. I'm having PB&Js if anybody wants one. So.
I just had that yesterday, and I had it the day before, and I had it the day before that.
Yep, me too.
What, PB&J's?
No, red curry.
Oh, I thought you were
Thai
talking
red
PB&Js.
curry.
Like I had PB&J.
Thai red curry is my favorite.
Yeah.
And then the Thai, Thai food, Thai red curry is my favorite, and then the Thai tea, their Thai tea. Have you ever had it?
No.
You need to try it. It's not like tea that you think, not like English tea. Just throw that out the window. This is amazing. It's like Southern tea, like sugary sweet, like heaven, but better. You'll love it. The English wouldn't like it.
Well,
so don't let your wife hear me say that.
she doesn't like tea either. So
She doesn't?
She doesn't drink tea. No.
She's a different one. She won't eat ranch with pizza. Has to eat mayonnaise because that's the English way, but won't drink tea.
She doesn't drink tea, but no.
See, that don't make sense.
Well, it does to me, I guess. Yeah. We don't drink tea anyway. Never.
It's not like a bitter. It's creamy because it had like a cream to it, so it's actually really good.
I do like Thai food, so I don't know. Yeah.
And it kills some of the heat, especially when you get it hot, like I do.
Yeah, I don't do that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, if my nose isn't wanting to run, it's not good.
I like to be able to taste it, you know.
Oh no, I want to taste it.
I don't like burning my.
I don't want it to be hot just to be hot, but I want there to be heat to it.
So you're a fan of Vindaloo then?
No, actually, I don't. I don't like that. It's too vinegary. I believe. I think because I was talking to some Indian guys. I've tried it more than once, and it's more. To me, it's more vinegary than anything. I like more masala, like Indian, but I like it creamy. But I want it hot. Indian hot. Yeah, it has therapeutic things.
Okay, huh?
It
Because
helps.
you can
It
feel
helps
it.
the blood flow.
You feel it going.
Purge the
Feel it
system.
going out.
Well, no, actually, it's supposed to be as a very circulatory. The red pepper does, so supposedly. But
Okay, well, there's our culinary discussion. Check.
Well, thanks for meeting with us, Chad. You're awesome. Keep it up. We didn't get to do your official plug for your campground. Mongo Campground, right?
Crooked Creek.
Crooked Creek.
In Mongo, Indiana.
In Mongo, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want the exceptional camping experience,
Prepare for fame and glory to come your way now that you put a plug in there.
Yep. You will get thousands and thousands
of people trying to camp.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Chad.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right, and for those of you that stuck with us this long, congratulations. You made it to the end. Hopefully you got something. Anyway, thanks a lot. See you next time.